Hello. So last time uh, I left this project in the last thing I did is create these 3D models, but I actually haven't done any of the actual traffic system simulation work. So I'll try to I'll try some try to first create a prototype and then add to it all the things I need in order to make the traffic system simulation fully functional. So first of all, given a road that is kind of this in this shape, I'll start by I'll have, for example, a car in here, and what I'll need to do is I'll have to use two cars at the start. So So for example, I'll have one car in this road and another car in also by having only two cars because it's much simpler. So for example, I have one car in here that is a bit far from this intersection and another car that is closer, so this one will trigger these lights. So one car will so for example, if I say that this car in here is this one, it will force the traffic lights for the other car to turn red so that this car can go all the way here or wherever it is programmed to go to, and the other car has to wait in the traffic lights. And after the car has gone where it needs to go, then the traffic lights in this road will turn green so that this other car can go in another direction. So I'll start by programming that, and first I'll try to extend the other this other road just like this one, and so I'll see what I need to do. I'll have to duplicate these road game objects. It doesn't look as perfect as it should be, but this will be, I think it will be just enough for to send what I wanna test. So I'll put one car a bit closer to the traffic lights, and I'll duplicate the same car game object and put it to in the other road. I'll make it a little bit far. It should be farther. Should be far, so I can do what I talked about in here. I'll duplicate the traffic lights also. I'll hide the house game object for the moment, so that this playtesting Aura, so that all of this seems or looks a bit more clear. So what I actually need to do is to make some variable be triggered by the car reaching the end of the road. So I already gave it a box collider, and I can't remember how what other triggers I put before. Okay, so I wrote this code before, but I can't really remember what it does. I'll stop these two functions for the moment and see what this code actually does. I have a lights list of game objects and cars. I try to assign, so I already put one car in here, and I'll add the second car and the other traffic lights game object. I think this code actually, yeah, as I commented in here, it calculates the distance between the traffic lights game object and the car. So this is exactly what I need. I'll look for this other traffic lights game object. There it is. This is the first one and the second one. Okay. So okay, I'll try and see what info I can get using this specific code, and I'll try to change it later. Okay. So I'm getting this float. It's one specific variable, so it's not the code is not giving me the two variables I need that are the distance between one car and the traffic light next to it and the other car and its traffic light. So I believe if I change the car position, the variable changes. Exactly. This is the distance between the first car and its traffic lights. I believe it. Yeah. The value in here is this car and this other traffic lights object, because they're not put in order. So I'll start by changing that. Yeah, exactly. I haven't even put the other traffic lights in the list of lights, so this should be the first one. Then I should add the other game object, and I wanna get both distances. So this is okay. Cars.write. So I made a script called cars, and it's this one. I don't think I need it for the moment, so I'll just get rid of it, and okay, I'll rename this list of car, or I'll make it a game object list, and I don't think I need this integer. This should work. I don't need this game object, and I don't think I need this either. I'll just comment it in case I don't need it later. So I wanna calculate the distance between the first car and the first lights game object using the I integer and the also the second car, and what I'll need. I just need to test this now and see what it gives me. Okay, I changed the cars game object, like so. I need to add the cars game objects back. So this should be the first car. So this is the first one and the second car. And it should work now. Yep. The first car is closer with a value of 9, and the second one is much far than the... It's far, so if I change their positions, I should get new values. So I'll change this car's position, and it's becoming smaller, and the second car is also getting closer to the lights. So what I'll do first is try to make the cars move forward and see how the values change, and figure out how to trigger something in the code so that the traffic lights actually stop the car that is far from the intersection. So first I'll need to make the cars in the cars game object list move forward. So I'll make a move cars function. I can't really remember what these functions do, but this one is surely shows me FPS. But for the moment, what I need is to make this move cars function. So I'll need a for loop. So it should be the same as this other loop that I already used. And so I have to change the car's position using a new vector tree. I'll assign or I'll use the position directly. So I'll hard code these movements for the moment. So for example, for the first car, it needs to move on the x-axis, and for the second car, it needs to move according to the z-axis. So I'll hard code the code for each car this way. So for the first car, I need to move it according to the x-axis. So what I'll do is I'll need to add a vector tree to the previous first car position, and for example, I'll add one float and fix the y and z positions, and add a null value. And for the second car, I'll need to move it according to the z-axis. So the one should be on the z value, and of course I should change the index, and this should normally work. So I'll see how this goes. So it works perfectly fine. I'll fix this scene tab so I can see clearly how they move from the start. Yep, they move at the same, for now they move at the same speed, and the first car reaches the intersection first. I'll make the for the moment I'll make the car's speed a variable that is one variable that all the cars use. I want to make the cars move a bit slower so I can see how they move clearly, because they are a little bit too fast. So I'll make the value 0.5 for the moment, and I don't really need to output these values, but what I want to do is make sure that when the cars reach a certain value that is not specifically or is not necessarily 0, when they reach a certain value, something gets triggered so that the system works. So, for example, for the first car, if I move it closer to the traffic lights, let's say when it reaches this specific point, which is approximately 3.5. Let's make it exactly 3.6. Okay, approximately, or let's make it a bit bigger. So let's say 4 when it reaches, or 5 when it reaches a distance of 5 units, like according to Unity's measurements. Let's say 5 when it reaches a distance of 5. I don't know if these traffic lights have any box colliders. Let's see. No. Let's say we use the car's box colliders, but I want to make sure that if there is any interactions between cars, their box colliders is not bigger than it should be. So I don't really want to make, for example, this box collider that big, because the interactions between the car and maybe the other cars, if I develop this more, will be a bit vague, or a bit I don't know. So what I want to do is not quite sure. Let's say what if I only used one traffic light's distance from it to the car, and change what I need to change only using this distance. So for example, if so the distance I calculate is this one, and okay, I'll copy this exact line. So this is all I get from this for loop, and so I don't really need to use it. And what I'll have to do is to okay, I'll hard code it and exactly write where I need. So if this distance, let's say for the first car, the distance between the first traffic lights and the first car is smaller or equal to the 5 units I already tried. So if it's smaller than or equals to 5, I exactly wanna stop the other car from moving forward. So what I'll specifically have to do is to stop this from happening, this move car. So I will okay, I want to make this using a for loop, but I'm not moving the cars specifically the same because of these x and z values, so I'll make these. So what I want to do is make these values okay, I'll make these values as variables in another list. Okay, all this is temporary because I'll make the code better later when I'll make this system much larger, and when I will have more cars, more intersections, and maybe all kinds of things you can encounter in an actual road and all of that. So first I'll write back the for loop I already wrote. So I want to loop on the cars list, and I want to specifically do this. This should be the loops index, and what I want to add is positions, or let's say let's make it a movement, a car movement list, and I wanna iterate using again the I, and this list I'll make it a local variable, a float list, or a vector tree list. Car movement list, which is a new vector tree list, and I'll add to it these values. Okay, this should be a 1 and this should be a 0. So this one line does what these two lines specifically do, and we'll put this speed variable, I'll just multiply it by this. And so why I wanted to use a for loop, so that I can stop one specific car that should stop because another car reached the traffic light. So what this specific code does is it checks whether the first car is closer to, okay, so if the first car is very close to the traffic lights, the other car should stop. I'll make it I'll use a not operator, so that while the first car is not closer to the traffic lights, both of the cars can move. And so when I use an else, I want to make the second car stop. The second car has a 1 index that I wanna put as a variable in the function. So for the moment, I'll make it one single variable. So I'll name it a car to stop variable. So inside the for loop, if the car to stop, I'll give it a -1, so that if I'm using the move cars function without an integer or without a variable inside, this automatically goes to -1, because -1 is not between 0 and the cars count, which is 1. So between 0 and 1, there's no -1, so no car will actually stop if I'm using the move cars function without wanting to stop any car. So if it's a 1 and the index I am at is actually a 1, I want to stop, so I'll make it the inverse. So while it's not the car to stop, I want to make the car actually move. So, but what this specifically does is when the first car is very close to the traffic lights, the other car, even if it hasn't reached the traffic lights, it will stop in the middle of the road. I'll try to change this so it can work properly, but I want to see what this actually does and whether it works or not. Okay, it goes very quickly. Okay. Okay. Okay, these two lines of code actually get executed a lot of times, so I don't have to add to the list these two fixer trees all the time. But not quite sure what the problem is, because I have another problem of the cars being very quick. So I'll see what I can do. If I made the variable very small, it works actually. And so what I wanna debug now is whether the second car stops. Yep, the second car stops when the first car reaches the traffic lights. But I saw that when I'm checking for it, whether it's 5 units closer to the traffic lights. So, for example, when the car is specifically here, it might be 5 units or maybe 5 units farther than the traffic lights, and so the second car actually moves when the car reaches, for example, this point, but it hasn't actually crossed the road to the other side. So this is it. So the first car reaches the traffic light. The second car stops and waits. Now the first car's distance from the traffic lights are less than 5, but at this specific point it's bigger than 5, and the second car actually moves. And so what I need to check is when the car is actually at some point, when the first car is at some distance, for example, bigger than 5, but still smaller than another value. So a car can go in different directions. So I don't have one specific value to use, but what I can check for is whether the car, let's say the car trigger, let's say touches another road trigger, but it can be a lot of work. And so okay, let's not generalize the solution for this, and for the moment make the first car stops the second car when the distance is smaller than 5 and bigger than a specific value that the car would get. So the distance between the first car and the traffic lights is this one specific value when the car is actually in this specific point, which should be only did this for loop again, and I'll need to stop moving the cars actually. Okay, this solution will work only for this specific case, but my goal is to make it actually work. So the second car is when it's when the distance is 4. Okay, let's say when the distance is over 15, and when, because I should check when the distance is over 15 and the car is actually in front of the traffic lights game object. So I need a 15 and to check for the car's direction. So how can I put that into an if statement? What I simply have to do is to check for the x position variable. So the traffic lights position is -5, and the car's position is bigger than that. So when the car is behind the traffic lights game object, it's its x value is actually smaller than the traffic light object position, so I should check for that, and for the distance to be over 15. So I can do that by measuring again the distance. It should be bigger than 15, and I should check for the so if the distance is bigger than 15 and the car position dot x is bigger than the lights position dot x. So in this case, and only in this case, I want the other car too, so I should add this condition to the first condition. All of this is temporary because it's not the perfect solution for all the cases whether the first car wanna make a left or right turn, or whether the second car wants to actually make for example, a left turn, and so there's a lot of other cases that I should check for later, but first I need to make something that it works, then I'll try to improve the system, because it's not that easy to come up with a general solution for all the cases from the first time. So these two conditions should be met in order to make both cars move, and I need an end statement or an end operator here, and or else I need to remove one parentheses and see if this actually works. I need to change this. I'll make it a variable in here, and add to it the two vector trees and the start function. So let's see how this works. Okay, I need to get rid of this 15, and still got some error. Okay. Okay, I think that should be it. Okay. Now, the first car is moving, and the second car, I think it stopped. Yeah, the second car is actually not moving. Okay, let's see if it moves after the first car crosses the road. Yep, it actually moves. But why doesn't it move at first? Because of the first condition. So if the distance is bigger than 15, and okay, let's make this AND operator an OR operator and see how this works. Okay, it moves for now. It stops. And it moves again. Okay, because of the OR statement. Okay. Okay, I'll try to change these statements a bit. So if the car's position is inferior than the lights traffic lights position, then I want to check for this condition. So if the car is behind the traffic lights and the distance is not less than 5, then I want both cars to move. And else if the car's position is actually bigger than the traffic lights position, so if the car is in front of the traffic lights, I wanna move both cars when the distance of the first car, or when the first car actually crosses the intersection. So it's this, but okay, yeah, so I'll basically do the same thing. So what I'll specifically need is to make all of this one statement and use an OR operator so that both of these statements work together. Okay. Else I wanna move only the first car, so let's try this out. I'll change the camera position so that it looks so that I can see everything from above. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see how this works. Okay, I'm gonna get in the second car position now. I'll get in the second car in the view. Okay. Okay. Both of the cars are moving, and the first car reaches the traffic lights. The second car stops for now, and when the first car crosses the road, the second car moves again. So what I wanted it to do. At first it works, but this is not how it should go. The second car can actually move as long as it's not exceeding for this specific limit. So I want it to stop only if the first car is in this specific area. So I wanna stop the second car, not in all other cases, but specifically in some specific cases. So else if the okay, let's try to write this okay, so this is the traffic lights for the first car. This is the distance between the car and the traffic lights is 5 units, and this is the intersection, and the distance between the traffic lights and the position that the car should be in after crossing the intersection is 15 units, and I wanna make sure the first car can actually move while the first car isn't in this area. So if the first car distance from the traffic lights is less than 15, so I wanna stop the second car if the distance is actually bigger than 15. So and no, I wanna stop. Okay. Okay, I need to check if the distance is less than 15, and because the car might be like the previous example, or maybe how it works for the moment. The car is very far from its own traffic light, so the car couldn't move even if the car is in this area. So if the first car's distance from its traffic lights is less than 15, and the second car's distance from its own traffic lights is less than 5, then I want to stop the first car from moving. So I should check for that also. So doing that, the second car can move even if the first car is in this area. So if the first car is in that area and the second car reaches its traffic lights, then it should stop. So I'll try that out and see how it goes. So I should change the indices to 1, and okay, I'll try this out and see how it goes. an error. Need to put a 1 instead of the cursor. Okay, so both of the cars are moving for the moment, and both of them stop. Okay, why is that? Yeah, both of them just stop moving. Okay, so when these conditions aren't met, we go to the other else if, and apparently these conditions aren't met, then the move cars function is never called. So okay, I want to check. I want to stop the first car if maybe I should add another or in here. So when should it work? So the two conditions that aren't met are the car is behind the traffic lights and the position, and the position is bigger than 5. Maybe these two conditions are what should be changed. So okay, let's check the first car's position for the moment. Okay, so the distance is less than 5. So this is false. Of course, the car's position isn't greater than the light's position, so this is not working. Okay, I'll try to get rid of this inverse operator and see how it goes. Okay, they're not moving at all. Okay, so these conditions aren't working. The moment that the car is very close to the traffic lights, Okay, I'll try to get rid of all of this. Let's see what I can do. Okay, apparently everything is working fine. And let's see if the second car actually doesn't stop. Yeah, it doesn't stop. I'll try to make the second car a bit closer so that they might intersect. So yep, the second car stops while the first car is not in the, yep, this is exactly what I wanted to do, and it works just fine. So now both of the cars are moving, but both of the cars are moving, and when the first car tries to cross the road and it's very close to the intersection, the second car can move, but as soon as the second car gets closer to the traffic lights, then it stops and waits for the first car to cross the road and get to the other end, then it can move again to cross the road. So this works just fine, and these other conditions that I wrote before are a bit useless, but maybe they can come in handy later. I hope so. I don't need this distance debugging for the moment, and I'll try to add one other small thing, which is the actual traffic lights. So I made all of them glow in these colors. Not sure how I can change. Yep, I think I can change these specific material objects. So yep, there's the yep, I can change them specifically this way. So for example, this is the green lights working, and this is the red light, and I'll try to change this in code when a specific line of road is should be stopped. But for the time being, all I wanted is to make these cars actually move and stop according to, for example, here one car should stop according to the other car's position, and that's it for now. I'll try to make this code more generalized for all types of roads and all types of cars positions in these specific roads, and getting this to work at first is the first step, in my opinion, first important step, but there's a lot of other things I should add and change in order to make this actually work properly. So that's about it.